Welcome back to Kite Wipe. Semi-final, the last one. Heat 33.
Aaron versus Stephen.
Aaron's 5'1".
Stephen looks very uncomfortable.
He looks like something as awful has just happened to his body.
He looks like he's just found out that his wild card to the 2021 King of the Air has been pulled out.
What about Aaron's haircut?
Yeah, it's offsetting. It's offset his whole face. It's like his Adam's apple's extra big.
Asymmetric though. Probably helps with the board off rotations.
Exactly. Here they go.
Here we go.
By the way, Stephen is Mr. Consistency, you know?
Mr. Consistency against who? What's Aaron's nickname? What's he good at?
He's the king.
He's good at winning.
He's the greatest ever.
So, late back roll from Aaron, 7.0, straight on the scoreboard. Chest passing that straight over to Stephen. Stephen doesn't ride this heat well. I think he would admit that. Basically, the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds, he does next to nothing. And then it's only in that last segment that actually he does come alive and does push Aaron all the way to the max. And this heat ends up being really, really tight. But yeah, Aaron's the one to watch for these first 4 minutes. But you're in the journey with us. We're going to be telling you, what to look at and when. Don't you worry. Sit back, relax. We're a minute in here. It's all to come.
I wonder why the guys are still doing stuff on the inside when it's never really scored, you know?
It is scoring well, though. That's the thing. Later in this heat, Aaron does a board off on the way in. It scores a 7.48, which is that's a mad score. Yeah. So it is worth it.
Talking about, we're talking about Stephen on our last podcast. He is actually one of the most consistent performers at King of the Air that people probably don't realise.
He's the 5th most successful King of the Air entrant of all time, isn't he?
There's his air. What you would kind of call that a Jesus walk. I'm trying to call that an air walk. Air Jesus.
I don't think it really matters. It's so insignificant. Like, what? Why is he doing that? I don't understand his strategy there. It looks like it's not a mistake as well, because his kite's so far to the side of the window by the time he leaves the water. It looks like that was his intention. He just wanted to get high and do that, but yeah.
By the way, you should definitely go and watch this and listen to that Jesse Richmond interview. That's why you should never put a microphone in the face on a guy who's full of adrenaline. It's one of the worst interviews ever.
It is, yeah. So I'll zoom the footage in so we can concentrate on the action here. But I'll just put up a quick little snippet of Jesse's.
Flash.
Oh, too good. Yeah. This is awesome.
So that last trick that Aaron did, we actually missed it because we're useless at doing commentaries. Even though it's not live, we're still rubbish. That was a board off with an extra rotation on the way down, scoring a 7.58, which ends up on his eventual scoreboard. So there you go. We've also at this point missed a board off from Stephen. The cameras don't get it. That's a 6.8. So you could argue that he's not completely wasting the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but didn't end up on the scoreboard, so basically he is.
Picks up the pace, you know. Maybe Stephen knew what he's doing, you know. Maybe he wanted to, as the judges were, getting serious with the scores, he wanted to put his best performance in. We should really ask him about that, actually.
Maybe the late bird actually gets more worms.
The worm. Gets an extra worm.
Because they're not greedy. They're like, no, you have it, and then I will have some after.
I mean, these are some decent waves coming through now, actually.
So we're approaching...
Yeah, that's a mistake. I mean, that's...
halfway mark in this heat. 4 minutes, 36 seconds to go. Stephen's still yet to do anything of significance. Aaron's got one decent score on the board. I don't think it's anywhere near as windy as the first semi-final here.
Is Stephen on shorter lines? I mean, he normally not real short, but he has in the past ridden shorter lines than most guys because he likes to get that kite as low as possible. I mean, that's one of his sort of signature moves.
For sure. Yeah, he's on 20-metre lines and still getting impressive height. So imagine if he was on
22s
more
or
competitive
24s,
length lines.
22s, I guess. Most guys are on 22s of this. I think 24s are probably too slow.
So you need to watch Stephen here, because what he does here is competitive genius. So he goes to load up here, wait for it, and he thinks, no, I'm not going to hit that kicker.
There's a better one
behind. Yeah.
Boom.
And it pays off.
I mean, that's ridiculous. He's got the best board-offs in the game, I think. I mean, how far back is he stretched out? And I mean, it just looks so impressive. What does he call that? Scorpion kick or something like that? Is that the name they're using?
This is a replay of Aaron doing a sent front roll. Why he did that, I've no idea. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of that and we'll put in a replay of Stephen going absolutely massive with that board off 7.94. So that's Aaron's second highest scoring heat there. There's a back roll board off 7.92. Back roll was really early, which makes it easier because you're getting the back row out of the way and then going for the board off. The judges, if you look back on the score sheet, which Red Bull have kindly given us, they actually thought that was just a grabbed back roll loop, not a board off. So interesting. I wonder if I wonder if that could have been scored a bit higher if they knew what he was actually doing. But already scored really high, 7.92.
Maybe these judges should be wearing sunglasses next year. Actually, this is funny. If you think about 2016 or 15, that when they finished, it was almost dark, right? I mean, this is a lot of light compared to back then.
What we're about to witness is Stephen Akkersdijk on an absolute rampage.
Oof.
Count the seconds
Wow.
in between these. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
This is
8,
good commentary.
9, 10, 11. Oh!
I mean, dude, that is just sick. That one's off the fin too. I like that.
So that first trick was a late back roll with an additional rotation, 7.44. The second one was a board off 8.08. Boom. He's hit the scoreboard twice there within, 25 seconds. Very impressive.
The good thing about that second rotation was it was almost inverted as well, which made it look even more cool. I mean, I think that...
It was sick.
I mean, those scores are not reflected on the judges' scores there. You can't see that score come through yet, but it's
so
close
that actually
now.
flips the scoring.
Yeah,
Akkersdijk takes the lead from his 20-odd second rampage there. So Aaron is on the back foot here and has to respond with something. And you've all seen this heat before, probably. You all know what's coming. But
is he going to go to his unhooked variations?
he is, I think. How very wise you are. Look at that. There we go.
There he goes.
Pretty high one. I will give him that. I think 7.62. I reckon that was higher than Mark's from his first from the semi before this. It's not Jesse though, is it?
I think Mark and Jesse have that extra rotation in there, by the way.
Yeah, possibly.
See, now he comes down. He just comes down at that. I think
Yeah,
Jesse is. He's got at least two more. But actually, that one from 2019, Jesse does the extra pass right at the end, which makes it even more ridiculous.
There we go. So we're in the dying seconds here. I think Stephen's probably going like, oh shit, he's done the trump card, he's done the pass, which I don't do, so I'm going to have to do something here. I really need a gust. And he does find it here. I've said that slightly too early though. I've jumped the gun there. He's not even hit the kicker.
What's he going for?
It's a big boogie.
I like that too. I like an inverted boogie. It's always good.
That's tickled Adrian's fancy. That's a 7.32. Dying moments of the heat here. Aaron, I think, is probably shitting himself. He's probably like, I don't know. Like that boogie looked pretty big, so he goes for a board off there. 7.45. Heat comes to an end. This was really tight. No one quite knew who won this one.
This is where these impression scores come in, and this, we don't really like those scores. Makes it tough.
No, it's too subjective.
Definitely leaves it in the judge's hands. It's like that famous line: "Never leave it in the judge's hands." You got to make it defined. So the
Whose line is that? Is that yours?
No, that's actually from the UFC. Never leaves it in the judge's hands. But it's a good. I was trying to twist it into kiteboarding.
Never leave it in the judge's hands. Make sure you beat the living shit out of them so that everyone knows. Yeah. So
like
interestingly here, that if you total up all the scores, so Aaron's 3 trick scores come to 23.12, whereas Stephen's comes to 23.46. So just on tricks, Stephen's won this by 0.34. Then the overall impression scores come in. Aaron's is 8.20, whereas Stephen's is only 7.50, which means Stephen then ends up losing this heat by 0.36. So the overall impression score completely flips it. I think it's still the right result. Aaron did a big pass. Stephen didn't do that. There you go. That's my opinion. Do you agree? Would you disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, those overall impressions, you talk about Jesse using it, Mark's used it all throughout the day, Aaron's used it. And, you know, how many times have we said, you know, you need to bring in some unhooked variations to get that extra score, you know, to put pressure on, to use it as an ace right at the end of the heat.
There we go. Hadlow fans dancing to victory. There's the Stephen fans crying, covering their faces. They can't stand it. They're fuming. Right, and there we have it, everyone. That's the final semi-final, which didn't sound great, but I've said it now, and we're live, sort of. So, if you want us to do more heats, you're going to have to tell us which ones to do, because we've already done all the semis and the final of this. We could redo the final, because I didn't do that with Adrian, but can't really be asked. So, we're going to be digging deep back into the 2019 and 2018 vaults. Tell you what, I'd love to get the footage of the super windy year, that 2016 year where Lewis Crathern ends up in a coma for 2 weeks, and it's just absolute carnage. Unfortunately, that live stream's off air, but we're going to ask Red Bull if they can dig it out from somewhere. They've kindly given us all the score sheets, so surely they got that footage kicking around somewhere. Anyway, until then, you're going to have to wait and tell us what to do in the next one. Thank you to us as always. We'll see you then. Goodbye.